you really?
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict, episode 668. Trump does China and Domestic Friday. A lot of stuff happening in the world. A lot of China stuff. A lot of Iran stuff. You know, even the Iran stuff is not like what's happening in Iran. It's like what's happening around the Iran conflict. A lot of it, and a lot of that, is occurring in China. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of random, wild, strange stuff going on in America, like, you know, grenade-sized IEDs, which could or could not have been a dastardly plot to blow up a dam, or it could have just been somebody dropped an artillery simulator in the water. But you know, we'll talk about that later. Gentlemen, how you doing? Joe, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm well and good. It was 80 2 days ago, and we're going to have 3 days of rain and snow mix for the next 3 days. So that's what life in the mountains is like, I suppose.
Life in the big mountains.
Yeah. I'm going to make a quick push here, though, to everyone. I want to thank everyone for their concerns for Alan, but it's not changed. She's not gotten any better, not getting any worse. So we got a plan for the future. So if y'all are so inclined, since I am now officially financially on the hook for this camp, I could certainly use some donations, and I'll drop a donation link in there. And you can help by coming out to our events and actually doing stuff here. So help me help others, I guess, is the big thing. It was really rough yesterday. I moved Alan's stuff out of the office and mine in. Like, Alan has not set foot in this building in over a year, but out of respect for him and what he's done, I have left his office absolutely untouched. And 2 days ago, his wife was like, you need to clean out his office for us and put your stuff in there and actually move into that role fully. So I was like, but I don't want to, Mom. So, so it has been done, and it's a new world. So we shall see. We shall see. I'm hoping he's here for the July event. That's what I'm really hoping. I gave him a reason to fight for it because the locals have asked him to be the Grand Marshal of the parade. And that might give him a reason to be the Grand Marshal of a parade on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence is a pretty darn neat thing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, just to be part of that, you know, people and his family's going to remember if he's able to take part too. So,
first of all, Hunch, let me just say, based on the amount of money I have given you in the last 3 years, you know what I'm willing to do for that $20.
All right, $20 is $20, right, Joe? I mean, just saying.
Yeah, $20 is $20. He says this because he's literally on his way here right now. So, anyway, all right, I'll find that way.
All right, Watcher, how you doing? Recovering?
Mostly, yeah. Honestly, this is the So you never, when you have a slow slide into not having good health, it's hard to try and pin anything on it in anything in specific. But now that I've had the raging infection pulled out of my face and sinus cavity, and I'm starting to actually heal up from the surgery, I just experienced the first day in over 6 months where I didn't have the overwhelming compulsion to sleep all day. So I am doing better. My face is still numb, so I have to go in for another appointment today and make sure I didn't throw a clot. But other than that, I'm doing good.
Well, the good news is it's very likely it's just
Yes. By the way, kids, don't talk with Gemini about your medical problems. Go straight to Grok. Gemini is trained on WebMD.
Just you put it any three symptoms and it comes back as cancer.
It's the worst possible solution.
Alpha Charlie says he feels you because he took a piece of shrapnel to the face and it didn't. So
Alpha Charlie, are you a different person on Twitter? Because I also had another one of my followers state that they had a tire blow up in their face, and when I asked how, assuming that, oh no, you poor devil, you must have been working on a split rim tire and forgot to install a safety chain. No. He decided that it was time to employ the finish rebeating method. Are you all familiar with the finish rebeating method?
No.
This is where you're out in the sticks and you need to rebeat a tire, but you don't have a compressor. So what you do instead is put a flammable liquid inside of the tire in a very, very small amount.
Absolutely stupid. I don't understand why I would do that.
He skipped the second part.
No, his was absolutely firearms related. So,
not so stealthy Yeti member for 14 months. Thank you for the support. Good morning from the World 11 reenactment camp in Wisconsin. All right, brother.
That's funny.
World War 11.
By the way, I had a conversation with the guys from Mountain Readiness last night. And Watcher, they were not aware. He loved your chicken. Remember when we had him on? He did the chicken nerd out, you and him?
Yeah.
He loved that conversation. But then I said, he goes, what do I put his name down as? I just put Watcher the Nephilim and we'll be covered. And he was like, I wasn't aware he was tall. I'm like, oh, yeah, he is.
Is your height publicly disclosed, Watcher?
I am 6 foot. I am just about 6'3". I like to be honest about it, so I'm like 6'2 3/4.
It's just it's your overall picture because you got some broad shoulders, tall.
I am
wild hair.
You know when you're reading a novel and they describe a soldier as being corn-fed.
Yeah.
I just if we could get his beard cleaned up, Joe, I think I'd be happy with just that, just that alone. But hey, that's just me. All right.
Surprised me though with Sibley because he doesn't even look like he's a big dude, and Sibley is a big dude.
How tall is he?
6'4".
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never actually been in the same zip code as Sibley before.
I'll just say that although I'm not a short man, Sibley is the big spoon.
All right. Let's see. Jim. Is that Jim? Old Hong Kong. Yeah, how you doing, brother?
Good morning.
Lot of Chyna stuff going on today.
Yeah, there is. Hey, Rick.
So we'll be getting into that in a little bit here. How's life treating you?
Life's good. Been busy. So
yeah.
All this Clark. If you are free tomorrow afternoon-ish, there's a rumor that Hunch and I will be doing nefarious things around here. So
I can't imagine.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I can't imagine.
All right, I am Uncle Bob. For $2 says John has a long list.
Hold on, you got to do Hunch's $2 real quick.
Yeah, Yeah. Over on Rumble, Hunch, the Dirty Roofer for $2 says, "We don't measure Watcher in feet and inches. Watcher stands 10 hands at the shoulders." That's exactly how we would measure him in Kentucky as well.
I still say my favorite story from last year's event was Watcher and his adopted Aunt Allison realizing who they were to each other after already been conversing for like 5 minutes, right? They're just chit-chatting in the kitchen, and Watcher's like, "Wait, you're Allison." And she's like, "Oh my God, you're Watcher." It was very funny. It's good times.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Then there were tears and hugs and ridiculousness and all kinds of craziness.
The whole time I'm there, I'm like, "Where's the pie? Where's the pie at?"
Oh, I'm working on that. I have an email crafted to Willie's Distilling. We finna have some pie.
Can I just say how excited I am not to have to buy the bottle this time?
If I play this right, there may be a case of bottles here. So he actually offered last year. I just had to remind him the other day. So we're in good shape.
I'm sorry. I'm just like always. I'm just kind of like skimming through my X feed when while I'm cognitively not engaged up here, right? And I just came across another one of those Ellen Page.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you've got to fucking see this. I'm sorry.
Well, it's fine. While you're spreading it, I just want to settle one thing. So there's a lot of, how military. If you're in the military, you get a lot of nicknames, right? The one constant nickname that I got rebranded at every new place was always Jolly Green, as in the Jolly Green Giant. So. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was hilarious. I saw that one last night.
No, first comment's exactly right. Make that big.
Ellen Page is so. Oh, you're talking about on
Richard. No, from Richard right there.
The dog is like, "Nah, man."
Oh, that's funny. All right.
Speaking of, that dog was a blue heeler, and the lady across the street has a blue heeler that she's trying to rehome, and I'm like, "Do not tell my wife."
Derna, Copperpot. Derna.
Or we
Derna.
will.
Derna, Copperpot. That is important. Okay, moving on.
All right, it's some tubing, just saying.
I was gonna say at the very minimum. Come on, man.
But here's the other thing too. Like, I had a guy who actually made fairly decent, like homemade whiskey.
Hooch, yeah.
Well, it was actual homemade whiskey, made the way you're supposed to make it, right? And but it was not barrel aged at all. It was cask aged, and it was like only for like a month, right? And let me just tell you the difference between that and
I can't wait to show you what can now be done with small shards of formerly used commercial barrels and ultrasonic transducers. It's amazing. Anyhow, moving on.
Yeah, I mean, it smooths them out. It smooths them out for sure. All right. We got some funny stuff to look at. Ever since AI has become this like daily background noise. Oh my God!
Not another one.
Yeah, I just saw another one. Elliot Page or Ellen Page stars in Fight Club.
Oh God.
You
know what though? Yeah. You know what though? Here's the deal. Edward Norton is kind of built like Elliot Page, so that kind of.
I mean, it's not the craziest one for one I've ever seen. Here we go, Joe.
I'm sorry, I was busy typing that email. Oh my God. Not quite as good as the 300 one, but it is pretty good.
Oh,
The 300 one is great. He like goes to kick the dude in the chest, and the guy just looks down at his foot and laughs. It's really good.
So I haven't seen that one yet, but I did see the Troy one, right, where the guy just throws the spear right out instead of
gets
dodging
right
it,
in the chest. Yeah,
it takes her down.
my favorite part of this is people are leftists are already like, "Ha, you guys are trying to organize a boycott against a Nolan film." Nobody's trying to organize a boycott. Nobody's going to go see that piece of shit.
No, but
are you kidding me?
It's just like that game mixtape. Have you guys seen the travesty that is this game mixtape that's out there nowadays?
No, because when things say gay mixtape, I don't look at it.
It's a game. Not gay.
But it is.
Game.
But it is. But it is.
Very gay. It is very gay. Yes.
Exceptionally gay. It is both about a gay character and made by a gay person and trying to push gay propaganda.
It's too early in the fucking morning for this gay bullshit. I'm out of here.
I don't know if Jim ever connected properly.
Hugh Jazz says the first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Elliot Page.
Oh, I think he's back.
Hey, there he is.
I'm against using the name Elliot. It's Ellen Page. That's the LARP name. You don't use the LARP name.
Well, my favorite part of that LARP name is she even picked one that is it is objectively it's also a girl's name. Most of them go for hyper masculine. She picked one that is it's literally I know girls whose name is Elliot.
Yeah. Well, they all want that kind of like gender neutral name like Pat or Chris or something.
Oh, really? Most of the ones I've seen go for like Max or you know what I mean, like really hyper masculine names.
Anyway, so we've got Pat, right? It's Pat. That was the.
Well, we do have yet another AI video up next. Oh, hold on, maybe not.
Spencer Pratt has
Are you back?
There we go.
Yeah, sorry, the sound just disappeared.
Fantastic. Well, now we have you, though. Good deal.
All right. Let's go ahead and check out a new Spencer Pratt ad. Here we go. You guys got sound? Good. I can't hear it. Is there sound?
Oh, oops. I shared it the wrong way. Hold on. Sorry. The sound so far is not that important, so I won't restart it, but I'm sure there will be important sound from here on in. Where is it? There we go.
Daddy!
You were in a coma. 3 years. MacArthur Park, right? Where are all the needles and homeless people?
The mayor fixed it.
Wait, isn't this downtown? Where are all the tents? The piss and the shit and the criminal drug addicts?
The mayor fixed it.
They rebuilt the Palisades? How?
The mayor fixed it.
Wow. Karen Bass really turned the city around.
Karen Bass isn't the mayor anymore, honey.
Who's the mayor?
Spencer Pratt.
He's like, who's Spencer Pratt?
That was pretty well done. Okay, people keep asking, are these a real ad? Almost none of the AI stuff are quote unquote real ads. That's one of the things that I keep trying to like point out about this AI thing to you guys. It democratizes so much that previously it was solely the realm of multi-million-dollar ad campaigns. Same with X being an open communication platform to spread those videos. No, these are not official ads. These are so there are a group of Hollywood producers and other various like writers and that kind of stuff who really hate the leftists because they got kicked out of Hollywood for DEI shit, and haven't been working in the industry since then, who became friends on social media and who decided to latch on to Spencer Pratt on their own. Like, they're not getting paid for this, although they very much should be. If Republicans have even a shred of political instinct, they will latch on to these guys and hire them. They have come together as an artist collective and have been doing their own AI ads, spending maybe $20 a day on credits and potentially producing millions and millions of dollars worth of political effect, or what would have been formerly millions of dollars. Money's going to matter less and less in politics as the things that money used to pay for become automatable.
Well,
That's why the grift is so important. They got to get it somewhere else.
well, and Jim, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, what you do is you undermine their ability to continue the grift going forward, because actual quality people are able to undercut them for no cost.
Ground game is hard to fake if you get it going good, which is something Scott Pressler's proven in spades.
Yeah, but that video had blonde children in it, so it's meaningless.
Uh-oh. Here we go against the racism against the blondies. I mean, watch your. Since we're in Spencer Pratt territory, and
We got time for another one?
we've got this other one here. And I just dropped it in the private chat.
By the way, I love that they're screaming about it and they're coming after him. I know that we didn't say this formally, but before we play this last one, he is very oh, hold on. Sorry, I can't make it stop. There we go. So he is very obviously legitimately scaring them. They are ducking out of debates. They are trying to consolidate and forcing one or the other to drop out so that they can get behind a single candidate. He's scaring the shit out of them, and that's because he legitimately has a chance to win. And part of that is that whoever's behind his official campaign understands the real narrative shit here. Like, they have masterfully handled multiple different widespread, well-funded attacks from the media.
Well, he's going to have a really, really hard time. I heard he got thrown out of his yoga studio. It's going to get almost untenable to live in LA for him.
Yeah.
Yes, especially if he doesn't win, he's got to basically it's either win or
he's already
leave.
said no. He's said that. He's already said that he's burned the boats. Like, he's either winning or he's moving out. He said that publicly.
He's got his eye on some land up here, I bet.
Up there, or Texas, or something like that.
Everything is hell when you're part of the scene. Karen Bass is awful and burning down our streets. Dirty needles, human waste. We just named two awful things: a stolen car, a burned down house. You know what's awful? Everything. Moms in shock, hit the locks. A camp of addicts down the block. Lots of tents, a very big mess. Awful scenes are not the best. Camps, traps, and crap. They're awful. Crack, smack, and shacks. They're awful. Slums and scum and bums. That's awful. Everything you see or smell or touch is awful. Karen Bass is awful. Everything is hell when you're part of her scene. Everything is awful.
Couple zombies.
And she's killing our dreams.
I think that's enough of that.
Yeah, that's only the first half. I have no idea what
that
happened.
one, like, it gets better every scene, is really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'm just gonna say right now. I don't know who decided to grasp onto the Lego Movie trend thing apart from the Iranians. Please stop. Please stop. There are better styles.
Because it was a Lego video. The Iranians want him to win.
Yeah, they think he's one of their guys.
Watchers just pissed there no tall characters in Lego.
No, that's part of it. No representation. None.
That's it.
Of course, they could just toss a G.I. Joe in there and I'd be fine.
All right.
They'd tack you to the beach and call you Gulliver.
So, speaking of Spencer Pratt, having them running scared, Spencer Pratt within single-digit territory of far-left LA Mayor Karen Bass. New public opinion survey from Emerson College polling, a nonpartisan polling center based at Emerson College, shows the far-left incumbent Mayor Karen Bass remains the frontrunner of the Los Angeles mayoral race, though challenger Spencer Pratt appears to be gaining popularity and traction, which is clearly alarming the Democratic Party. Now, here's the thing. These are polls, right? So you got to remember, like, even if you like Spencer Pratt and you may vote for him, you may not tell these pollsters exactly what the truth is.
Wow.
And the sad thing is, when you look at this, right? So you've got the first choice votes, right? Emerson College poll. Karen Bass is at 30%. Spencer Pratt, as good as he seems, he's still only at 22%. So, if some of these undecided, he could get a big part of that, right?
So here's a funny little thing. First of all, understand that when a leftist gets to the point where you might beat them, they're either going to, if we look at current history or recent history, kill you or put you in jail. So I would be really aware of that if I was Spencer Pratt. But two, Nithya Raman, she really stepped in it when she said, based on the experiences in my country, high-speed rail is not a good idea. Because in her country, which is India, so first of all, she made that mistake, right? But in her country, Indians keep getting killed by trains because they're too dumb to know how trains work. I don't know why, but they keep stepping in front of trains or riding on top of trains or riding in between train cars. But if you're running in America, you don't say things like, yeah, people get killed in my home country all the time by trains. It was just a dumb comment to make, especially in California, where they love their trains. I don't know.
Hey, speaking of Indians, Joe, did you hear that I think it was the Supreme Court said that it was, I think, a 9-0 ruling that that trucking companies could be held like liable for the deaths caused by non-English speaking,
yes,
non-English speaking CDLs that they hire. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I think that was Florida that released their statistic of when they did a weekend of enforcement, they found like 19 different driver's licenses that said no name given. I don't even know why that's a thing literally anywhere, because I can't go down and buy cold medicine without producing practically a birth certificate and driver's license and social security card. But you can get a CDL and drive a couple tons of metal down the road.
That violates so many things. Like how are you even supposed? Do you have any idea how many laws that violates? Like to issue somebody an ID like that, they can now go out and get a federal telecommunication line, which you're only supposed to be able to get if you have an explicitly issued state ID that they can check against, which is part of counterterrorism efforts. They're like that. We need to come down on states that are doing this like a ton of fucking bricks. I mean, like just fucking arrests. Like just absolutely empty out whole DMV sections.
Well,
see how quickly they roll on their bosses.
We all want to talk about controlling guns and reducing the number of guns available. Meanwhile, these guys are literally not even giving their name and killing people on the highway.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit to being one of these people with a weird driver's license. I've got one with no picture on it, but that's just because I'm an overseas service member. But
yeah, well,
I mean,
but it's got your name on it.
That's true, and it's based on verified data.
It's just gonna say, and it's not as if Uncle Sam doesn't have your picture other places.
That's true. Lance Corporal Veteran for $2 says Californians love their trains, not ghost trains. Hunch the Dirty Roofer over in the Rumble chat says hold the brokers who hire those drivers with culpability as well. Law score for $1 over Rumble says I keep having surreal moments with y'all. The connection to Willie's gets me because I was there. I was in their distillery 8 years ago. That's interesting. Phil Coggins for $5 says, "Are you going to just ignore that Ellen Page bought her break-in a Hollywood film by noted Hollywood pedophile Bryan Singer, and that is in, so I didn't
know enough about her to care." So.
Yeah, so I remember something about that back in the day. Like there was some weirdness about how like she had, but I don't know. Anyway, so. But yes, I couldn't remember her name was Ellen the other day for a long time because I just forgot all about her. If I'm honest, I had to look that up. I said, "What's her dead name?" Because that's her real name.
Wrench Turner, I'd be very excited one of these days to have you come on and discuss that new court ruling that just came down yesterday, which is going to make carriers liable if they hire trucking companies. that are hiring illegals.
Yeah, so when you look at a big American trucking company, they have offices and facilities and mechanics and all that. But the vast majority of these Indian trucking companies are ran from an apartment, and there's like 37 companies in that same apartment. And so they don't have the overhead, they don't have the insurance costs because they're not buying it; they're buying the bare minimum and all of that. I imagine it does suck being in the trucking business, trying to compete against those drivers.
Well, not only that, but they don't. From what I hear, they pay their drivers literal slave wages because they know that they're getting their food and money from other places through state benefits programs.
Well, yeah, they've got a structure of indentured kind of drivers, right? They
Yeah.
bring them in. That's how it's done, and they're indentured to you, and there's usually organized crime involved.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that nobody wants to kind of to credit that piece, right, Jim? I mean, it's kind of like, oh, there's no crime. It's all the up and up. We thought we knew who this guy was, but no.
And they,
Well,
it's a good example. Yeah, they busted that motorcycle gang the other day, the Punjabi Devils.
Yeah, right.
So, all right. So you got the enforcement arm. All right. If you get in trouble, we'll send the Devils after you. Oh my golly, I better make the drive. Right.
Could they bring a notepad? Because I can't understand them when they threaten.
Yeah. Maybe if they hold up like a small like dry erase board or something like that might work.
No, I don't want any chicken vindaloo. No, I said I'm going to kill you. I thought you wanted chicken vindaloo. Okay.
Guys, why is the shady bike guy who's selling me a gun asking me to pay him in Google Play gift cards? This is very unsettling.
The SARS of Anarchy. Very good, Jake Clark. Very good.
Yes, Clark. That was your best line in probably just so far in the calendar year thus far.
I've had a few bangers. I don't know if that was the best one.
You
It's
see
the
the
freshest.
video or the picture the guy posted yesterday of an Indian guy who goes, "What nationality am I? I frequently get mistaken for Southern Italian or Romanian."
Yeah. No, you don't.
No,
you don't.
No, you do not. And as the resident Italian, I got to say, not only that, but nah, y'all. There is literally no way anyone has ever confused you with being Italian.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's move on to the next one here. This is great. This is good to see. Yeah, because like from time to time, Denmark comes across as a typical woke European country, but then you see these bursts of like really based great stuff. So this is. You go just play the video, watch her, and I'll read the story that goes along with this. In the grand tradition of Hobbes, Leviathan, and Max Weber's monopoly on legitimate violence, the Danish state police reminded the world why civilized order exists. A mob of pro-Hamas radicals illegally blocked the Maersk headquarters in Copenhagen, choking a private company, commerce, and the rules of law itself. In 92 seconds, the Copenhagen police, helmets on, canines unleashed, batons precise, dismantled their entire spectacle. No endless negotiations, no performative dialogue, just swift, lawful force restoring the peace these ideologues sought to shatter. This wasn't police brutality. This was a sovereign democracy refusing to surrender its streets to imported chaos and medieval hatred. While much of Europe lectured about de-escalation, as radicals torched synagogues and blocked ports, Denmark has simply enforced the social contract. This is actually a good, We are not fans of heavy-handed policing and that type of stuff, but this is absolutely a correct use of state-sponsored violence against people like that, in my opinion.
No, this here's the thing. You might have gotten a beating and it might have sucked, but they didn't take you to jail, if you noticed that.
Yeah.
All they did was tell you to get out of here. And I think they should
them out.
take their win there and get out of there. And that guy right there is he's happy to be there. Look at him. He's like, that was so much fun. I'll note that short baton is a European thing. And I got one from the British police, British military police that I have floating around here somewhere. They're very effective because the power arc is pretty small, but it's a thick piece of hickory. So
It's called the cudgel.
yeah.
Derna over in the Rumble chat for $5 says, "How are you supposed to fight back against a Sikh biker gang? No gas or coffee if you cross them." Oh, that's a good point. No coffee for you.
Damn it. I'm very upset that I can't find a particular meme that I'm looking for.
Well, let's stay on based Europeans for a few more minutes, shall we? Showing us how to do it. Dutch town of 9,000 people have been open revolt for 3 days straight. The plan dropped 110,000 young, 110, not even 110,000, just 110 young male asylum seekers into their neighborhood, a quiet community with that has zero to say in the matter. The response: massive public resistance.
Zoekers. De afgelopen 2 avonden.
Oh, never mind. It's in
Dutch. I mean, this is a Dutch news broadcast, but it's worth watching because these guys go pretty hard in the paint later on in the video.
Yeah, they did.
And see, that's what, like, you can't just be willing to show up. You got to have some people that are willing to go, a little kinetic when you need it.
Yeah, this is the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, you need some Karens, right? Because you need these these white women to have their kind of like whatever it is they bring to. But then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you need to have your hooligans too, with smoke grenades and firecrackers. I guess evidently, I would watch out for the firecrackers because those are technically explosive devices if they want to. Start getting
certainly in Europe too,
yeah, about how they enforce the laws. They got their little riot van and everything.
Well, there you go. There's the EU policy running into resistance from
trying to go the other way.
Wide-eyed suburbans.
Heavens to Murgatroyd, Jim. Right? I mean, it's kind of like, well, what do you mean the people who pay the taxes don't like it when we trash their neighborhoods?
It's ironic. The Viking authorities still using Viking shields.
Yeah, well, the thing I noticed about these shields, if you look at them, they're made of wicker.
Yes,
it's cloth covering like a wicker frame.
Yeah, because if you're carrying it and using it, that absorbs a lot more of the kinetic energy than a hard plastic one would.
Yeah, and it's light too. I would imagine it's fairly light.
It's also a sign of having been a running dog colonial power.
Yeah.
The colonial powers have still got a little bit of pent up violence in them.
Hey, get that cameraman right there.
They're gonna need a lot more.
Look at it.
Yeah, the guy in the jeans is running the shop.
Yeah. That is probably the most stereotypical girl from that area I've seen.
Yeah. And she doesn't understand why she can't walk down the street with blonde hair and not get harassed.
In the home of blonde women, yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, Wander Away. This is where they burned down the facility.
Yeah, skip ahead a little bit. I can't remember if this has got the burning in it.
So this is Northern Holland?
Yeah. If you go to the video that this was shared off of right there. Yeah. That's the one. Share that one, Watcher. You could probably share the sound with this one.
It should be sharing.
It is. We can hear it now.
Listen to the hard bass in the background.
If I'm honest, I think this is the correct response. I mean, burning down a facility that's unoccupied, you give people the opportunity to get out, make sure that, and then you block the fire trucks.
Well, and I'll be honest, it's the true response all the way around, because first they asked their government not to do it. You know, the petitioning. The government said, "Okay, you've been heard, but we're going to do it anyway." And then they attempted a court settlement, and that didn't work. And so, what is left? The final box, right?
Yeah.
Violence becomes the only thing that's option.
And it's built right next door to a girls' hockey club, by the way.
Oh, that always works out well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, military age males next to 17-year-old girls. That is. Let's see. 3,000 people signed a petition, but the court approved the plan, stating that humanitarian aid takes priority. The public protested every night for 3 weeks. On the day the refugees moved in, the facility was set on fire, and the road to the fire brigade was blocked. This fate's root cause was the reaction. Was last year a 17-year-old girl named Lisa was killed by an asylum seeker. So it's not like they're worried about what could happen. This is they know what has happened, and they refuse to allow that to happen again.
You know, this might seem weird, but as I'm looking back over the course of history, it seems like places that have law and order as a general rule all tend to be ruled by one class of people. Wild.
I mean, you know.
One culture, I guess, is what I would say. It's not about, you know, who it is. It's just that it's Western European values, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's just it, Joe. I mean, I think all of these collective values always lead to tribalism, which always leads to violence, whereas individual rights is the thing that really defines the civilized world in the modern era, and that comes directly from the Enlightenment and, you know, the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, and all that. Western
before people
culture.
say, but what about Asia? Asia is ruled by the gun. Asia is ruled and has law and order by brute force.
Well,
society, it's by societal compact. You know what I mean?
So let me, Jim. You've got a day or two in Singapore, the most peaceful place in Asia. Why don't you tell the folks about what the government of Singapore is like?
Yeah, they just don't tolerate deviation, right? So, and I'm not talking about the gay neighbor or the party, or they just, if you get out of hand, they shut you down very quickly, and punishments are severe. Narcotics, you know, they'll put you to death.
Yeah,
so
well,
it works. I mean, it's a pretty safe place. It's got a little bit of a criminal underground, like all Chinese cities. It's got to have one. So you can get gambling, you can get prostitutes. If you're stupid enough, you can get drugs. You just have to be really circumspect.
Well, you know, the thing I've learned about Asian cultures is that all those things have their place in the culture. As long as they stay in that place, the correct place,
don't
they
embarrass
allow
anyone.
They basically, it's got its place. But people became familiar in the late 80s, early 90s. When that kid got caned for like chewing bubblegum or something like that, or spitting bubblegum out on the sidewalk, or I can't remember exactly what it was.
So I was sitting with some senior Singaporean folks during that crisis, and what the kid had done is he was a shitball, and he was keying cars. And so cars in Singapore are very expensive, and expensive cars in Singapore are 3 to 4 times what you would pay here for the same car. So he was in the parking lot of his expatriate high rise, and he was a notorious problem, and he did thousands and thousands of dollars of damage to people's cars. And so they decided to cane him. They were very worried it would affect American perspectives on this, and I did a little impromptu around the table. I said, "Who here is concerned about the kid getting caned?" And everybody started laughing. So the minister was rather pleased that we weren't concerned. He said, "Man," he said, "your media." I said, "Never listen to the media." And I said, "The media
right is the moderate option here."
The irony is that the people who were up in arms about this are the exact same people who got fucking Bill Clinton elected. It was that whole kind of subversive, progressive, neo-Marxist movement within the media, and the media industrial complex, and You can see how far they have come since just causing a stir over a kid getting caned in Singapore.
Yeah,
I
they caned
just
him,
wish
but they
we'd bring
caned
it
him
here.
softly.
Listen. I think we should start this in America, and I think the way that we introduce it is that it is as a punishment for provocation streamers.
Hey, there was once a caning on the Senate floor, but
All right, let's move on. Let's see what's our next one.
Kansas, in case anyone didn't know.
Bleeding Kansas, yeah. So you're doing something right when your enemies put a 50 million euro bounty on your head. The Islamic Republic announced a 50 million euro assassination bill against President Trump after 2 failed assassination plots against President Trump tied to IRGC-linked operatives. The Islamic Republic is now preparing legislation offering a 50 million euro reward to any person or entity that kills him.
Can I interject here for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Based on what evidence did they call it IRGC linked? Because I've seen nothing that links any of the alleged Trump assassins to the IRGC. Have you?
No.
They just said that because they wanted to say it.
So I think there were some IRGC linked plots, but they were not the two. Like they're none of the 3 that were close.
But that's not what they're implying here.
No,
right?
That's not what they're implying.
Yeah.
It's them trying to make themselves look bigger than they are.
Yeah.
So this is the Euro Green Red movement trying to show that they're doing something.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Let's see. The proposal was announced by Ibrahim Azizi, ahead of Iran's Parliament National Security and Foreign Policy Commission, who said lawmakers are drafting legislation offering. See, this is not even a real reward yet. It's just we're thinking about drafting legislation to do this. But ultimately, let's be honest, there's no legislation. It's like 5 guys in a cave that are thinking about this, right? And they just happen to have access to a radio transmitter and a TV camera.
And budget. Right?
And a budget. And a little bit of budget. I don't even know that they have 50 million euro, though, still at this point.
Oh, of course they do.
It's a sovereign nation. They can just make it up out of thin air.
They got so much money floating around. They got suitcases. I mean, they're in the narcotics.
Oh, that's right. They've got billions. They've got the hard thing will be changing all their Biden dollars or Obama dollars into euros.
I've heard people just send them airplanes of cash in the middle of the night.
I know but the problem is they send them dollars and not euros. This is not
they've got I can guarantee you they've got suitcases full of money that came out of Ukraine early in the war.
Don't you remember when the Taliban took over Afghanistan and they went into those rooms that had
literal
just
warehouse
piles
full of
cash, and it was all U.S. dollars too.
And listen, as somebody who has every so often been handed a satchel and said, "Go give this to this guy," there was a lot of cash just sitting around in Afghanistan.
Yeah. The legislation is still drafting stage. It also comes after 2 assassination plots tied to IRGC-linked operatives were uncovered. See, they're trying to link it to the actual guys that had guns, the shooting at him, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about other people that have been
bagged way earlier in the process.
Right,
way earlier.
Right.
Yeah, they got picked up. They got picked up on a tobacco trading thing or something like that.
But notice whoever wrote this article buried that fact all the way at the bottom.
Yeah,
because it to imply that it was one of the actual shooters.
Yes.
Yeah. It says here these cases involved alleged murder for hire schemes, surveillance operations, and retaliation plots targeting Trump, which kind of says exactly what you mean. They buried the lead. So I just thought that was interesting, and that Trump still, clearly he's if he was totally irrelevant, they wouldn't be doing this. Let's just put it that way. Lost Core 23 for $10 says they should transfer the 10 million into my account so I can attest to their ownership of 10 million. That's a good point. What you could do is you could then send them 5 million back. It's like, it's like,
oh my God.
It's
Look
the
at
Iranian
look at
prince.
the YouTube chat. Look who just appeared in the YouTube chat.
Whoa!
Oh my goodness!
Listen, I have a ponytail. Ron, but you have to be present to win. You must come and see it.
He
I don't think it's
captured
a
it.
If you collect My Little Pony.
That's right.
Well, I thought he captured it in a raid on a Renaissance fair camp. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I heard that Ron's people were involved in raiding the DNI's office. That's what I heard, Ron. I don't know.
Ron's
Careful.
personally taking down Tulsi. All right.
Although I did see one thing though. I'm a big fan of Infantry Dort, and Infantry Dort posted a very, very interesting way to evaluate officers the other day, and Ron said he had some ideas, and I want to hear those ideas someday. I'm sure it won't be soon, but I'd like to hear them.
Well, it's good. It's good to see Ron in the chat. We appreciate you jumping in, brother. If ever you leave the cushy digs in Washington, we'd love to have you back to hear about your adventures. All right, let us continue on.
Are we done with the assassination plot stuff?
I think we are. Yeah. Let's move
Hold
on
on,
to.
I have to do a Ron related joke. Okay.
Oh,
we start talking about potential CIA ops and assassination attempts of black ops, and Ron shows up out of nowhere. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I'm glad he could come spend some time with the Peanut Gallery today.
I know, right?
That's a good man, genuinely. And you know what? And his wife's a fantastic cook. For those of you who don't know that, great woman. So.
You know who else is a good man?
Huh?
My friend Joe Dolio over at Tactical Wisdom.
Oh, yeah. Good segue. Good segue.
Tactical-wisdom.com. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Because you know what? There are a couple of variations of Tactical Wisdom that people have bought up, and I don't really know why. Anyway, tactical-wisdom.com, your home for all kinds of wisdom of a tactical nature. You can find all of our training courses there, including some that we have added. I've also been informed that for those of you going to Mountain Readiness, one of the firearms training places has dropped out. So that Monday after, I've been informed I'm doing a defensive pistol class, which is not yet on the schedule, but it will be. We've got a lot of classes built around Mountain Readiness, so there'll be a whole bunch going on in July. Sign up for some. I've got a bunch of people sign up for community security ops and the protective service concepts that I have going on then. So sign up. It'll be that July. Scroll down just a touch, Washer. Just before that Fieldcraft, July 27th, we will do defensive handgun for 8 hours. It'll be a good class. Run you about $200. It'll be a good time. But come on out and spend some time with us. I will remind you all that Mountain Readiness is the next big event we have, July 24th through the 26th. Scott will be there. Washer will be there. Old Hong Kong will put in an appearance. I might actually try to get him to do a little bit longer of an appearance than he did last time. And
which weekend is this?
Have some fun. What's that?
Which weekend is this?
July 24th through the 26th.
I can do that.
Okay. All right. It's going to be a great time. I'd love for y'all to come on out. If you use the code Tactical Wisdom 5, I guess is the code, at Mountain Readiness West, you save 5% on your tickets, and it's going to be a great time. Come hang out with us.
Jim, I'm going to be coming out a couple days early, so hopefully we can all eat some barbecue.
Perfect.
Yeah, Jim, I'm gonna put you on one day for serving just the core crew. So because they all need to enjoy the feasts that you put on.
I've heard good things.
There'll be a night where we just sit around a campfire. Jim just shows up with a bag of meat and is like, "We're about to cook this on that fire." I'm like, "Whatever you want, bro. Whatever you want." And it was delicious.
We are here for you. Absolutely. All right.
Well, listen, you have to do this in front of Jim's wife if you ever meet her, Tell her that you think he was in the CIA because she loves it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Hey, so we know that Brush Beater's store is having issues with still with his website. Matt's working on that. But that being said, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't know about what's going on over there, and we can't tell you about it. So remember, you can always call them if you want to make orders and things like that. Literally, the old school calling, asking for things, and then giving your credit card number over the phone will probably work if you really need something, along those lines. So feel free to continue to patronize Brush Beater store. All right. In the midst of Trump's highly successful trip to China, delivering major diplomatic wins and shifting global power dynamics, America faces global domestic turmoil at home, political unrest, rising street violence, and radical elements continue to destabilize cities, communities as tensions boil over. When normal communications fail and chaos erupts in the streets, you need reliable gear and real skills. Brush Beater store has you covered with the AR-152 Pro, a rugged, high-performance handheld radio built like a tank, 10-watt tri-power output, massive 12,000 milliamp battery, built-in GPS and APRS tracking, expanded frequency coverage, and multiple antennas for superior range when cell service dies. Hey, so Matt has said, like, when the chips are down, that's the radio he picks up. That thing, he's had it since it first came out, and he says it's built like a tank, literally.
I have one here. It is a great radio. Yeah.
And I've got one. Well, I don't know where mine went, so it's around here somewhere. Highly recommend that. We all have that radio. Pair it with the Kyber Optics Jambiya 3x30, a compact battle-ready 3-time prismatic optic with premium Japanese glass, locking turrets, and the ultra-rugged construction by disabled American veterans. Enroll in the RTO course for this, or the SIGINT course, hands-on, no BS training that teaches real signals operating instructions, frequency management under pressure, secure group comms, and actual signals intelligence. By the way, I just wanted to say, if you had been following the Mesh-tastic debates going on X, you could listen to whoever you want, right? But when I I know comms, but I don't know comms, right? So when I listen to people, I listen to people who have like real world practical experience, not people who are LARPing their best JSOC life, right? Trust me, they don't have JSOC resources, so the things that JSOC have don't work for them the way it works for the pros from Dover. So listen to guys like Matt about what he says. Get the AR-152 Pro at brushbeater.store/products/AR-152-Pro. Get the Kyber Optics Jambiya at 3x30 at the Brush Beater store. Products/Kyber-Optics Jambiya-3x30. Enroll at the RTO and SIGINT training at Brush Beater store/collection/training. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all radios, accessories, and courses. Orders over $100 ship for free, $150 ship for free. Big thanks to Matt at the Brush Beater store for powering the Council on Future Conflict as Trump scores big in China and domestic turmoil continues to rise here at home. Head to brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and build the connected, clear-eyed security presence your community needs. Now, back to the show. Joe, have you been following that whole fucking mesh bullshit that's been going on?
Yes, because it's been going on for years. It just got worse over the weekend when Roy put out that thread, and Matt and I both were like, if only two guys have been warning you about this exact threat, and they all want to explain to us all the reasons why the Ukrainians and everyone else in the world are wrong about mesh networks getting you killed. That first strike against the Ukrainian Legion, that's what it was. So...
Joe, just because I can come up with some reasons why people might want to look into something like that doesn't mean that I think that if you have any kind of comms, like a threat against your comms network, any kind at all, it automatically becomes about the worst way to do comms.
Listen, if there's a risk of somebody targeting me with a rocket, it's the absolute worst option you could ever consider because it's constantly broadcasting your location nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, I got the one guy was like, "Hey, was my wife going to have a bowel thing in the coffee shop, or is she going to have a little, like cell phone looking thing?" Right? Okay, I totally get what he's talking about. A completely permissive environment where you aren't the bad guy, right? And there isn't a persistent threat against you. Okay, if you want to argue best case scenario, fine, that's fine. God, I hope he's right. That being said, you can't plan for the best case. You have to plan for the pace. Right?
I will point out that it was a disingenuous argument because he began it from a tactical comms perspective.
Exactly. That's what right.
Sustainment comms, everyday comms. Once we pointed out how terrible it is for tactical comms.
Right. That was kind of like, like just because you can make an argument for something doesn't mean you don't die on that hill. You move to the next fallback position. And it's the next.
They always go to but you have to encrypt it strongly. Okay, it's not about the traffic; it's about the signal. Encrypting it does you no good because it still says there's a radio signal out there. And in fact, encrypting it is actually worse because then they're like, there's somebody out there saying something that they don't want me to hear.
Yeah. Well, and if you think that you can encrypt something well enough to where the NSA can't crack it, then you're fucking.
You are never going to beat the nation state.
And just because JSOC uses it doesn't mean you have the resources they have. I mean, JSOC literally has the United States Air Force flying top cover. They're not worried about the same threats that you are, and so they use a completely different system.
Popcorn Powder just says, so Joe is saying we should all use CB radios in war zones. Congratulations. You must have gone to the RTO course because both Matt and I have said this many, many times. CB is an underutilized resource. It's got great range, not real good audio quality, but I don't necessarily need audio quality to send data. So.
Let me just tell you, the Taliban for years used FM and HF radios in Afghanistan, and literally you had to be right on top of them in order to locate them and find them. Now you could listen to them, sure, but
yeah,
I mean that just tells you what they're saying. It doesn't tell you what they are.
Jay Clark says, "I see indications of Antifa using Meshtastic to communicate ICE locations." Yeah, but I most often see Antifa people using the good old Baofeng UV5R unencrypted. Now, when you get a little bit higher up, I see the PSL national level people using the digital Baofeng for a little more ComSec, but they're still just using UHF, VHF radio. They're not using Meshtastic.
Well, what they're using more than the mesh network stuff are actual cell networks and apps, kind of bespoke apps on cell phones and things like that with their own kind of custom
those only work while the system works, right?
Exactly right. But
one of the cautions I give people, a question I get a lot from everybody is, what about these rapid radios? They say, no monthly cost and they're nationwide. That is a cell phone. And sure, there's no monthly cost, but you have to pay it all up front every year. You pay a $500 annual fee instead of paying $30 a month, right? And then if the cell towers go down, they don't work. So,
all right, enough of us.
Yeah, we could spend like 7 hours on this. So
yeah, enough of us fuds pissing into the wind here. Let's talk about what Jim wants to talk about, and that is Chyna.
Oh, shit. I was going to talk about a 7.62 substitute weapon for my future, but okay. Jeez.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about guns, you've come to the right place, Jim.
By the way, I was going to say, though, Scott, I'm excited for you to get out here and try out some Kuiper optics. Because
I'm impressed with what he's done. He's done an amazing job on that portfolio. Great stuff, good prices.
Yeah, I've never had an LPVO, and I think I'm gonna get one of his. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, the 1 to 10 is pretty legit. So
what do you want to talk about, Scott?
Well, we got some. I mean, we couldn't save all the not all of our funny videos or Spencer Pratt. So we finally got the G to speak a little English for us.
No.
This next clip.
President Trump is real asshole. I keep trying. President Trump is real asshole. I keep trying to take Taiwan, but he keeps saying no. He be like, you can't take no Taiwan shit. And I like, why not, nigga? You took Venezuela and Iran and all that shit. And he be like, you take Taiwan, and I'm a tariff your fat Chinese ass shit. And that hurt feelings. Because he also got big fat ass from eating McDonald's all day. But he only calling President Xi fat ass. He also keep calling me Kung Fu Panda. That shit ain't right, asshole. Anyway, enjoy Kung Pao chicken totari made of chicken, I promise.
Made of chicken, I promise.
Who's
Cooked
the
in
Winnie
gutter
the Pooh
oil.
is so legit. Right?
Well, that's a really good prompt, Scott. He's right. So China finds themselves alone, which they're okay with, I think. But yeah, Castro's gone. Looks like that went down yesterday, right?
Yeah. So by the way, we're going to talk a little bit about that later in the domestic segment. But man, I think Cuba's falling.
Okay, so it's all of the dominoes in BRICS are done, right? Lula was just in Washington and didn't get the attention he wanted. He's on his way out. Bolsonaro's looking like it's going to win.
Yeah, the sun looks like he's going to win, right?
Yeah. So BRICS has failed to launch, which is good, right? It puts us in a good place. So the logic of what's been going on is very good. They threw down one trap in front of Trump, which really isn't a trap because it's been discussed for 20 years, the Thucydides trap. And, they're like, oh, well, we really don't want conflict. Well, nobody wants conflict. But this concept of a trap, rising power, falling power, China inside the bubble, they believe their own bullshit, right? Because they do shoot messengers with bad messages. And so a lot of the guys who've been running around saying, the U.S. can't fight, U.S. weapon systems aren't good, don't have enough munitions, yada, 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 won't stand for Taiwan. They missed the point.
Yeah.
They don't know what we'll do, which is exactly fine with me, which is, keep it difficult for them to understand, keep the fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the party, and arm the hell out of Taiwan. The Chinese don't want us to do this deal. The smartest thing Trump's people could do is run a couple destroyers down through that strait within the next 48 hours. And if they could run a Japanese one and an American one, it would even be more powerful of a statement. And they don't have to go through blaring horns. They just have to go south on a mission, right?
Yeah.
Or go north on a mission. Come back from the Gulf, run your destroyers up the channel. That's the kind of thing that they pay attention to. Oil, good God, China's in trouble, right? Energy problem.
Big trouble.
So not only is China in trouble, but the reliance of Southeast Asia on subsidized distillates has failed. They can't rely on China to send them oil and gas. They know that now. So this is going to open opportunities for American West Coast production to go somewhere. Now, that's our political problem, is getting the West Coast to begin to do petrochemical production again. Alaska's decided they're going to get back into it, thank God. But we're in a position to be selling oil and gas in lieu of the Middle East. That creates another rub, but we're talking about China for now. They're going to buy a hell of a lot of oil and gas from us. We should not become addicted to the Chinese buy. We cannot let them invest in these infrastructures. Trump may be attracted to that. They talk about him as a transactional guy. They're going to take advantage of his transactionalness. I don't think we should fall victim to that. We should co-invest with them in some countries where they're minority investors. Sure. You want to do a deal in Pakistan? We have something strategic in Pakistan. I couldn't pull it out of my ass now. But if we had something strategic in Pakistan, sure, the Chinese are there, we're there, we want to be there, makes sense. That's transactional. Having them come in and invest in a petrochemical facility or an automotive facility in the United States, very bad idea.
I also think letting the Chinese autos into the American market, I don't think is a good idea either.
Well, they're not just autos. Well, they're not just autos. They are nodes, right? Yeah. Each of those vehicles is a frickin' node. All right,
it's a tech node, right? It's
yeah,
got a Huawei router in
cameras,
it.
it's got cameras, it's got RF, it's got everything it needs to collect whatever it wants, and it'll give them a real-time snapshot of the major municipalities. Bad idea. Now, Canada's going to get stupid on that. Mexico will get stupid on that. And I think that we have to think about ways to say, you can't bring that across the border. The problem you're going to get into is there are going to be a bunch of surfer dudes in Southern California that go, I want a BYD, man. I want to go down.
Only $10,000.
So the gray market for those, they've tried to price them competitively as a way to grab market. They've been really successful in Latin America. Now, Iran, I think the Chinese are sanguine to the fact that Iran's a pain in the ass. It's outlived its value. Mm-hmm. They also don't want a shooting war. And the reason they don't want a shooting war is because the infrastructure in Iran, if damaged, hurts China more than it hurts the United States. We have the ability.
It hurts China almost more than it hurts anybody else.
Absolutely. So they don't want us to blow shit up. But this is the rub. They don't want the Iranians to blow shit up. And the Iranians have this fatalistic 12-er mindset. At some point, somebody may go start killing infrastructure just to say we hate you and it's end of times and the 12th Imam's coming up out of the well, so I'm going to go blow up Karg Island for you. That would be ill-advised from the standpoint of stability for Iran, but the Chinese definitely don't want to see that. So the Chinese are back-channeling a don't overreact. I think they understand that they should not be financing Iran. It's lost its pallor for them. But they won't speak aggressively about it. And I think that the kind of soft statements that came out of the meetings in Beijing between Trump and Xi, where, we prefer not to have conflict, will be very beneficial.
Yeah.
Everybody's seeking stability. China's economy is in trouble. Their domestic economy is in trouble. They tried to put on a good face in Beijing. It isn't a good face. Consumer spending is way, way down. Businesses are not doing well. Exporters are not doing well. Labor is not doing well. So China has its challenges. You're surrounded by all the Wu Mao, right? You get these guys who are so pro-China, and they pretend not to be pro-China. That's the part I don't get is, okay, I lived in Shanghai for 10 years, and I'm going to tell you about the Chinese. They have no freaking idea. And they're going to get out there and be their Wu Mao selves. I mean, I'm seeing major American outlets like MSNBC and CBS put guys like Sean Rain on. It's like, come on, the guy's been in the bag for the Chinese. He's a loon, all right, and he thinks he's practical. He thinks he invented the success, right? He was there in the formative years. He made a bet early on to go live in China. I mean, doom on him. I hope it goes well for him, but I doubt it will. And they're one-trick ponies, right? Which is China can do no wrong. Guess what? China does a lot wrong. And it's the reason Xi is no longer surrounded by familiar faces. If anybody pushes back on you on China and says, "Oh, they're so successful," look at the buildings in Shanghai.
It's a house of fucking cards, man.
Yeah, go 100 yards off the road and you will find other stuff.
Yeah. Just Google tofu drag and you'll find out the truth about anything that lasts more than about 3 years in China. One of the things, Jim, I think that's really important is a lot of people are going to say, hey, we got to be wary, right? And that's correct. We should, because you can't fucking trust China. And so if they attempt to try to undercut some of these critical defense industries, like rare earths or some of the industrial metals and things like that, I think this is Trump's opportunity to go full speed ahead on domestic production of all those critical, because they are defense industrial concerns, rather than letting China come back and say, oh, well, if you drop a little more tariffs, then we'll give you full access to all the gallium and all the other things that you need.
Yeah, so the difficulty with that is that's a 5 to 10 year program, right?
Yeah.
And the Biden people had some lip service to it, but now the Department of State, Department of War, the DFC, and the teams of transactional people that Trump has brought into government have a mission to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard to do, though, because you have to break the bureaucratic norms in Washington of, oh, that's risky. How do we know that in 30 years We won't be subsidizing a metals industry that isn't competitive. It will not be competitive unless you subsidize and build it and then buy from it. So you have to accept that if you're going to do things properly, it may be a little bit more expensive, right? But what that'll do is it'll force the Chinese out of controlling a strategic asset. So it has national security value. And the problem you get into is when you actually run the numbers, we may have to pay more than we paid 2 years ago for a mineral. Let's say a mineral was $1,000 a ton 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's now $4,000 a ton. We may have to say, okay, we guarantee you $3,000 a ton for the rest of existence to produce and hold the asset we need, whatever the mineral is. And look at copper prices, look at everything. We need control of that in order to build out the infrastructure of the United States in a competitive way. We've got to take action on that. And this little hot potato has been kicked around in Washington a lot because it's a different way of thinking. It's transactional. We need it, go buy it, right? Go own a mine in Brazil, go own a mine in Africa. This also runs us into another issue. We have to wrest control of these mines from Chinese offshore money, much of it tied into narco businesses, much of it tied into money laundering, much of it not directly under the control of the central government in China. This also has China a little bit worked up because we're beginning to seize assets. We go in and buy them, or we back the companies that are going in and buying.
Yeah.
We have to do this. It looks painful. I know in 24 months, the Democrats are going to be sitting there pounding the table saying, why are we paying so much for this? We have to prepare to defend the strategic necessity of this program. And I know these guys are busy. I know they're doing a good job, but they better get ready because the Dems are going to descend on them like harpies. That's going to happen. But this is critical for stability. And stability is the thing that Trump and Xi have been talking about, right? That's at the core of why Trump's there. He's not there for transactional reasons, as the Chinese say. They're trying to belittle him by saying that. So his transactional willingness is the entree to our strategic long-term planning. You have to do these deals in order to have long-term stability, resilience, and competitiveness in an economy. It's going to take decades for TSMC to build capability here in North America. It's going to take decades to build the smelters we need for the metal processing we need. And this is a tough job. And he's being measured on a 12 to 18 month window. It's going to take many more presidents than Donald Trump to finish the beginning of an American renaissance in stability and resilience, right? The Chinese are using this transactional bullshit. So when you hear the Chinese guy go, oh, President Trump is really transactional, we can take advantage of him on some deals. So we can feed him some deals and then he'll give us what we want. Nonsense. That's the same model they tried with the WTO. And they did it successfully in the WTO. The folks in Washington, look at the picture of the people standing with Trump. Look at Chung. Look at the guys he brought with him, not the CEOs, his staff. Yeah. Those people, and of course, there was the classic, well, there are no women at the table. I can't believe there are no women at the table. He took his best and hardest ballers with him to Beijing, and they know exactly how to deal with China. Now, will it be perfect? No, it's going to be really, really difficult. But you have to understand, most of the people around Xi Jinping in the last 5 to 10 years are gone now. They failed. They're gone for a reason. They failed. And the military people are gone because they lied. All right. So the whole research and weapons systems people, all of the Chinese Academy of Science lab people falsified a bunch of stuff. It's pretty clear. Yeah. And they ended up with a lot of systems that didn't live up to expectations. Now, if there's a trap in this, it's that our guys believe that the Chinese can't do things. The Chinese have the capability to be effective. We can't go, oh, their stuff sucks. It isn't that easy. There are certain very important things in the portfolio in China that failed. Those people are going to jail. Those people are going to be put to death if they don't get shit straight, right? So it's not just corruption, it's fear. It's fear of bureaucratic vulnerability, with which in the party is death, right? You don't ever want to be found to be lying. You don't ever want to be found to be vulnerable. You don't want to be found having a daughter living in New York that you didn't disclose. Those are things that'll take a Chinese bureaucrat down. The important thing we have to understand is each of those events is an opportunity for us, and they should be mapped, and we should understand them. The last thing is, if you look at who's doing the transactions, it's the Premier League King. They're taking the transactional stuff very seriously. And this is a lesson for Americans. They need Boeing airplanes.
Yeah.
They can't rely on Airbus, because Airbus very often relies on American turbines, right?
Right.
The Chinese know the difference between Airbus and Boeing. There is a place for Boeing that cannot be replaced. It cannot be duplicated. And thank God we've maintained control of the turbine engine technology we have. We're the best on the planet. We need to keep doubling down. And everybody who bought into GE's spin out of the turbine division, well done, because they're 7 years out on their power. I can't imagine how far they're going to be out on their aviation engines when these orders hit. And I think is the starting point. I think on top of the 200, you're going to get another 100, 150 of the smaller aircraft as well.
People don't realize that these high bypass turbine engines for the kind of the current level of like the 737 Max, the 787 Dreamliner, the 800s, all the current stuff, they have nothing even close to our turbine engines. They can't even duplicate the success of the Russian high bypass engines, and the Russian high bypass engines are dog shit compared to American ones. Basically, you got what? 3 or 4 companies, right? It's Rolls-Royce, GE, Siemens, and Pratt and Whitney, right? I think these are the 4 that kind of can make those big turbines. And Siemens doesn't even make turbines for aircraft. They only make them for the
So yeah, you've got a bunch of joint ventures like CFM in Europe, and you've got the Japanese can build a good turbine, the Koreans can build a good turbine, power turbines, but they're getting close. The ability to do the metallurgy on the blade fans, it's single crystal kind of blade fans. It's hard to do. It isn't intuitive, and thank God the Chinese have tried to steal it for years. They tried to go buy a company in Ukraine after the Russians lost control of it. They will do most anything, right? Hey, I got to jump off and take this call real quick.
All right, Jim, we'll see you.
Yeah,
if you can make it back, that'd be great. Yeah, okay, great. All right. So, let's, there are a lot of great info. Jim just kind of gave us the shotgun blast of the kind of the 30,000 foot level of what's going on there. Single crystal. Yeah. So there's actually a video about silicon crystals and the crystalline structure around turbine blades. And now that I know Siemens and GE and a couple others are using additive manufacturing to be able to, build some of these parts. So there's some pretty interesting stuff. And I don't pretend to understand the technology behind it. All right. Let's now for something completely different. Back to a comedy interlude for China. Evidently, Trump has gone native in China. Here's a quick video.
Konnichiwa, my dear Chinese amigos. Your favorite president is here in China. I'm here to meet with your lovely dictator Xi, great friend of mine. A bit of a party pooper. I told him he was the Kung Flu Panda one time, and he didn't even smile. And when I ask him for McDonald's and a Diet Coke, he offers me tea and friggin' sushi. Or whatever it is you guys eat here in China. Probably dogs, like Somalis in Ohio. Anyway, thank you for inviting me to your lovely country. Remember to keep spraying Lysol in Wuhan. We don't want another fake virus to come from China. Anyway, arigato, bitches. Konnichiwa.
I love it.
Christmas with Konnichiwa, which is Japanese.
Exactly. Arigato is also Japanese. So, Yeah, that seems pretty realistic to me. I'm just saying.
What, you think it was AI?
No, I'm just saying. Who Joe? Who can even tell nowadays? It's so good.
Yeah, that was pretty legit.
All right, let's kind of jump into this first one here. So this is from the day before This is from yesterday, I think. After a fantastic day with Xi, Trump touts 200 jet Boeing deal as China offers Hormuz help. Let's see. A highly anticipated Boeing jet deal appears to have materialized after the first day of President Trump's summit with President Xi. Fox News reports that Trump said Boeing secured an order for 200 big jets from China. He said the order was initially 150, but the final figure was 200. Trump says China will help on reopening Hormuz. It's nearly midnight in Beijing, and President Trump is still speaking on the record with corporate media, offering additional insights to the first day of the summit and the state banquet with President Xi Jinping. In comments to Fox News, Trump said Xi offered to help pressure Iran to reopen the Straits of Hormuz, signaling that Beijing may be willing to use its leverage over Tehran. I will believe that when I see it. But that being said, I think China is going to have to cut Iran loose in order to get what it really wants, which is...
Well, we have a story here that may be an Iranian response to China saying, you don't get any weapons from us anymore. So we'll talk about that a bit.
Yeah, 100%. So let's see. This comes as energy insiders and traders warn that continued closure of the strait could end the end of the month to spark a worsening energy shock. I don't know what this. This is like a shock estimate. Trump also says Xi would not provide weapons to Tehran. I think that makes sense that China would do something like that. Like I said, I don't think that China. I think China sees supporting Iran at this point throwing good money after bad. Essentially, they did not get their investments worth out of what happened with Iran. President Trump and Chinese President Xi are currently seated at the main table at the not currently, but they were seated at the main table of the state banquet. President Xi called the visit historic and said U.S.-China ties are stable amidst talks with Trump's team. Let's see. This is from Rapid Response 47. This toast at the state banquet to the bright future of China-U.S. relations and the friendship between the two peoples, and to the health of President Trump and all the friends present. According to the White House, Trump and Xi agreed that the Strait of Hormuz should remain open to free navigation and that Tehran should not charge a fee to ships using the critical waterway. Other key notes, Trump had a good meeting with Xi. Leaders discuss increased China's purchase of agriculture. Trump and Xi agreed that Hormuz must remain open, and Trump agreed that the Baofeng radios should not be stopped coming into America.
Tariffed, yeah.
That's right. Let's see. Both sides agreed that Iran could never have nuclear weapons. Xi expressed interest in purchasing more American. Goddamn right, he's ready to start buying American oil because he needs it from somewhere. All right. So this is a statement from the White House. President Trump had a good meeting with Xi of China. The two sides discussed ways to enhance economic cooperation between our two countries, including expanding market access to American businesses in China and increasing Chinese investment in our industries. Leaders from many of the United States' largest companies joined a portion of the meeting. The president's also highlighted the need to build on the progress of ending the flow of fentanyl precursors into the United States. I'm glad they mentioned that. It tells me the White House is at least, cognizant of the fact that they have not been successful with that metric. As well as increasing China's purchases of American agricultural products. The two sides agreed the Strait of Hormuz must remain open to support the free flow of energy. President Xi also made clear China's opposition to the militarization of the strait and any efforts to charge a toll for its use, and he expressed interest in purchasing more American oil to reduce China's dependence on strait in the future. All right, good stuff there. Kind of going down. Let's see what else. Two sides discuss ways to enhance economic cooperation between the countries, including expanding market access for American businesses into China. I tell you, one of the things that I think really has got to end is this whole forced joint venture bullshit, where they basically are able to have all the IP for any product or a service that's sold within China. I think that's a fucking non-starter going forward. I mean, that might be fine.
This dictatorship. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I know, right? But you know, we almost have the proverbial boot to their neck, or at least the closest we've had to China. We
literally just hemmed up a defense contract with the people who own the Strait of Malacca. We have the boot on the neck. We just aren't pressing yet.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like, you know, we're not really, I don't think we're trying to, like, you know, we're basically telling China we can do it, but we're not doing it yet. So I think now is the time to, you know, hey, if you want to do that to the Europe, we don't give a fuck, but you're not going to do that to us. I think that's got to be the play. But, you know, Joe, how far can you trust the Chinese?
All the way across the Taiwan Strait, and that's it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
He erases all that goodwill with that sentence starting with "on the subject of Taiwan."
Let's see. Let's listen to this video here. Go down.
Hold on. Let me read it then. I thought you were going to stand by.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
On the subject of Taiwan, Xi told Trump that you may keep making it go away. He warned them that we would enter a dangerous phase if we opposed them in any way on Taiwan. So, Sino-U.S. relations would enter an extremely dangerous place if Trump ignored Beijing's demand over Taiwan. And what are Beijing's demand? That essentially we let it go.
Yeah, give it to us. All right, let's listen to what Trump said here in this next clip. Go down a little bit.
Oh, sorry, I just realized I was muted. I just want to say before we play it, I want to say that's funny because he repeatedly got asked about Taiwan while he was there, and I think the policy was you pretend any question about Taiwan did not exist.
Well, thank.
Hold on, it's going to make me go to X to blow it up.
Just play it from there. That's fine.
I want to thank President Xi, my friend, for this magnificent welcome. And it really was a magnificent welcome like none other. And for so graciously hosting us on this very historic state visit. We had extremely positive and productive conversations and meetings today with the Chinese delegation earlier. And this evening is another cherished opportunity to discuss among friends some of the things that we discussed today, all good for the United States and for China. And it was a great honor to be with you. Please.
All right, let's see.
All of that, and he said nothing.
POTUS in China, it's a great and beautiful place. You know, he's doing the politician thing, kissing babies and shaking hands. China stuff is going with expectations for any breakthroughs are low, says UBS and analyst Justina Steinholz told clients earlier. UBS analysts also said it's been a subdued Asian session with markets in a wait-and-see mode into the Trump-Xi meeting. Bestnet joined CNBC and said the U.S. and China are seeking to lower tariffs on some trade, starting with $30 billion in non-critical areas. Bestnet also noted that Chinese officials are doing what they can to reopen Hormuz. Bestnet also said that Boeing is nearing a large plane order from China, but did not specify whether those orders would be for narrow body or wide body jets. I noticed that the Commerce Secretary wasn't there. I would have thought that he would have been involved here.
I will point out that the low level tariffs coming off does mean the Baofeng radios.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were hoping for right there, if I'm honest.
Be prepared. You get extra credit for the Red Storm or the Hunt for Red October reference in the chat. When I'm not kissing babies, I'm stealing their lollipops.
But you know, a lot of pleasantries there on day one with all the diplomatic visits and whatnot. But everything was not perfect, right? There was some stuff going on behind the scenes. So let's play this next clip from Fox News.
Or not.
Oh, I'm back. Cool. My internet was down.
Yeah.
Sorry. You wanted the clip?
Yeah, go ahead, play.
Some heated and physical clashes between the Secret Service and the Chinese police on the basically at the back doors of these events, including one very physical standoff where a Secret Service officer was being prevented from taking his weapon in as part of the protective detail. But things have all been ironed out, and as far as we know, the schedule has not been changed because of that. Martha.
Yeah, well, it's a tense meeting. I think that is that's pretty clear. Peter, thank you very much.
Been some heated and physical clashes.
All right, so the next one actually has video that purports to be of that incident. So let's.
That's an 11-minuter, but okay.
Yeah, just kind of like, you know, maybe kind of skip ahead a little bit because I think there's a lot of this is a lot of protocol stuff.
Position, he will be by himself with one of you escorting. But we are out of the Temple of Artemis. This guy right here.
They basically just back him off here at this gate forever for like 10 minutes, and the van's waiting for them outside, and they won't let him go. And then this is a separate incident, I think.
She's like, I wish I didn't wear fucking heels today. This ground is not the best place for heels. Like this guy right here, man, this guy right here. Talk about a fucking Mongol invader in China. Did you see that guy? He looks like fucking Odd Job from...
How can you not see that guy?
He's a fucking mountain. Somebody said that Trump brought him just as a intimidation ploy against the Chinese. Just because
which one is that, Miller?
I'm pretty sure he was one of the Chinese side.
No, he's a Trump guy because he was in the receiving line and the Trump. This guy right here, Jim. Do you know who this guy is?
Oh, Chung. Yeah, he's my favorite, man. The guy's a goat. He's great. Yeah, well, no, this is what I was saying. Trump brought the right people. He brought people who know what the hell's going on in Beijing and don't play these games of being kind of like driven, right?
So that guy, that's an occupational condition. He spends a lot of time at the Asian buffets learning what's going on.
Be nice to Steve. Come on, man. You guys are mean.
No, I mean this in a nice way. I legitimately thought he might have been a former sumo.
No, he's not.
Jim, what was your take on this whole kind of kerfuffle with the security back?
They do it. No, they do it every time. It's part of the game, right? Which is, this is our country kind of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And they'll always pull a guy out to fuck with. And in this case, I think it was an African American guy, and it was badly handled. And I think it was somebody in the media that probably kicked something off, and then the Secret Service guy stepped in, and it pissed someone off in the Chinese security team. So it's just dick swinging, right? This is classic dick swinging among the guns.
But I'll be honest; those conflicts happen everywhere in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can imagine Joe moving at a fairly high clip with his eyes up and his sunglasses on, body checking somebody out of the way at the door, not really violently, but just get the guy the fuck out of the way. So
well, I don't have fucking time for this. Yeah.
I didn't know you were there the day that the IP guy bounced right off me.
Yeah. I know how this center of mass bullshit works. I've been body checked a couple times when I didn't see people coming. It happens. It happens. Did Trump drink champagne? I hope so.
We gotta go. We gotta move. We gotta go.
He drank one tiny sip.
Okay, if you look at this image, what do you have?
We gotta go, guys.
There's the African American face, right?
Yeah.
Where's the agent? On the left.
Yeah, there they went through.
There you go. So you can predict these kind of things. So it always has to do with the media too, because the media is just the whole fucking time. So
well, my favorite part of that is that they're a good target for the Chinese to pick, because while there's a part of me that's like, hey, those are Americans, there's another part of me that's like, actually no, those are leftist journalists. So
you see, so the reason it always occurs around the media pool is because they want it captured. They want to show the assertiveness, right? So it's all part of the game. It's been going on for decades.
The problem there that we've ran into in places like Iraq and Afghanistan too is, if you notice, there was a female agent there assisting with the handling. Don't do that in cultures like China, Iraq, Afghanistan. You cannot have a woman
100%.
give orders to men in those countries. It does not work.
Yeah.
They make, you see, but the women make very good California city mayors from the perspective of the Chinese. So another outcome to watch in China is this is the most beneficial thing we've done for China on this. China will triple and quadruple down on its nuclear energy commitment. And the reason that's good is because we can help by getting materials for what we need to do domestically. So there will be a surplus of the steels necessary and the materials necessary to build out the nuclear industry now, because China basically has to accelerate their uptake. So the industry will expand exponentially. Challenge is we need to get our fuel cycle people investing heavily. So Department of Energy needs to get on that really aggressively. And I would say we need to start mining again here, but I'm told that mining uranium scares people. So I'm not sure how we square that one, but it's going to happen. So I think the nicest thing we've done for the Chinese is remind them they need to invest in nuclear power.
I have an idea. Uranium fever is done.
I think they could just go sweep it off the desert in Utah.
That's right. That's
I was
right.
going to say it's actually not that hard to find. It's just,
Well, it's hard to process. It's easy to find, and it's the same for plutonium. We need to work on that as well.
The milling operations are where things really fall apart. We can get it out of the ground. Actually, interestingly, as frustrating as the tribal networks are in the U.S. for all kinds of things, if you want to mine uranium, there's actually quite a bit of it on tribal land, and they're very open to opening mining operations.
Yeah, they're open to any large scale, anything that makes money. They're open to it, which is kind of ironic, as they're the ones that want to be the ultimate stewards of the land. Whatever. All right, moving on to this next one. Now, this is an opinion, but I think that a lot of this is correct. So let's look at this. It's a clip, and it's basically showing, basically Trump stared down Xi Jinping and delivered a masterstroke that left the room in silence. So let's listen to what he said.
Reciprocal on our behalf. So I really look very much forward to our discussion. It's a big discussion. There are those that say this is maybe the biggest summit ever.
There were those that say, I love how he says that.
In the United States, people aren't talking about anything else.
The grandiosity of Trump's vocabulary is
the greatest summit ever. Some say.
It's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be your friend, and the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before. Thank you very much. Thank you. Reciprocal.
I think it is telling that they brought literally the CEOs from the biggest companies in the world to China. I clearly they're not ready to sign deals today. Though that Boeing deal did. My understanding is that was something that's been in the works for a while. I think bringing Jensen Huang. Basically, they promised to let China start buying the H200 chips again. which, by the way, is not the best chip, but it is not a Nerf chip like they were trying to make them buy. Jim, what was your kind of take on the support personnel he brought?
Well, I think what was really good about it is it had incredible gravity, and nobody was scrambling for deals. It was just a reminder that there are a lot of things that China needs to maintain control that we supply. It was a very soft, hey, if you need any of these things, you must buy them from us. And I think that resonates, right? And when you look at things like aviation and semiconductors, the us becomes we control the things that are inside of these systems, right? So the Dutch can do what the Dutch want to do, but they can't sell the intellectual property that's American. The Japanese can do what the Japanese want to do, but if it has American IP in it, which all the defense requirements have, they can't sell it to the Chinese. We just need to manage that better than we have in the past decades. And we need to be assertive about the long-term strategic value of that to the PRC. And we need to make them give us concessions. And this is transactional, right? So the Chinese have always won the transactional game because they stay at it for longer. They put more resources against it, and they don't forget institutionally. Every 24 to 48 months, the U.S. turns over institutionally, right? And we forget about this. And then people don't listen to the China experts who are like, don't forget, right? Don't forget we made a commitment 8 years ago to do something. Stay with it. So this continuity strategy for the United States infrastructure, our competitive infrastructure, our resilience, we got to have a longer term focus on it. And they'll say something like, well, the Senate Intelligence Committee, come on. Mark Warner is like the picture of the Senate Intelligence Committee. We know where that's gone. We are our own worst enemy on continuity and resilience, and we need to start doing better on that. And this would be a great inflection point for that.
So what I heard out of that whole conversation was, we'll sell them Boeing airplanes and they'll sell us Baofeng radios.
That's true.
I like the way you think, Joe.
Know your market. Know your market.
Talk about one of the things that I wanted to bring up, Joe, was some of the OPSEC that leaked out about the visit. So the final image. So there's this is not this, but it's something else. But you don't need the visual. The final image of the 2026 Beijing summit isn't a handshake; it's a trash bin. As the U.S. delegation prepares to board Air Force One, American staff and media were systematically collected every item handed out by Chinese officials, including credentials, pens, burner phones, and discarded them in a bin at the bottom of the stairs. The message was unmistakable. Nothing from China was allowed to cross the threshold of the president's plane. This digital purge is a direct result of the total lack of trust. What the hell is that?
That's me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's all right. Is a total lack of trust. Let's see. The U.S. delegation operated under a strict digital lockdown for the entire trip, treating every hotel Wi-Fi connection and provided device as a potential Trojan horse for CCP surveillance. By trashing the equipment before takeoff, the White House signaled that while trade deals can be signed, the security threat posed by Beijing's cyber espionage remains as active as ever. In a high-stakes world of 2026, geopolitics, diplomacy, and paranoia are now inseparable. The CCP wants to be treated as a global partner, but the U.S. response shows they are still viewed primarily as an intelligence threat. I thought that's a pretty interesting piece of information to come out, and I wouldn't be surprised if I've seen this source elsewhere, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was a deliberate kind of message that's being put out by lower levels of the president's entourage to make sure that people know that we don't really trust these guys.
Yeah, don't bring anything they give you back, because they found things in items that have been brought back on these kind of trips before. Found transmitters, recorders, storage devices. Just don't do it. Because look, they can send you something that doesn't emit anything, right? They send a recorder inside of some little item they give you, but then it gets to U.S. and some Chinese maid finds it in your hotel room, retrieves the recorder, and they get the data. They have a very, very extensive network on this.
By the way, if you ever go to China, don't take your cell phone to China, because if you do, it's basically hacked by the time you get back.
And it touches a Chinese network. And I seem to recall a tale, old Hong Kong, of two guys telling me about a trip to Las Vegas wherein some young Chinese ladies tried to engage them in conversation and set their phones next to theirs. And these guys said no, very smartly.
That happens.
Yeah.
So I put something in the private chat. Pull that up. If you guys want to understand what good soft power is, this is a good soft power video clip.
Oh, the YouTube one. Oh yeah. This is good. Play this, Watcher. The video. Yeah. That one. Yep.
快来方丈场免费，黄仁勋在这儿呢。啊，北口方丈场炸酱面。
This is the best noodle shop in Beijing, man.
Is that right?
It's like a Michelin star noodle shop, supposedly.
So this is the homeboy not being the homeboy.
And the thing that's interesting, I'm pretty sure he speaks Chinese, but he speaks English the whole time.
That's because this
all
was
these
soft
clips.
power. That's him being the CEO of a major company and being able to kind of look them in the eye and say, and I still like your noodles, man. There's some things you guys still do well.
Yeah.
I was like, soft power is ramen. Got a whole cupboard full, baby.
Love it. All right, let's see what's the next. Yeah, yeah. So we've got let's do this. So this is the president taking off, leaving Beijing. What do you know about that air quality, guys? Huh? What do you think?
I can feel my lungs burning already trying to breathe there. Like, it's got to be a physical effort.
When you hear about us complaining about yellow dust here in Korea, you know what the fuck I'm talking about now, because it comes from the Gobi Desert. It literally comes from the Gobi Desert.
Yeah, it's called Loess. And I'll tell you, Beijing, when it hits, it's really ugly and you will get sick. I was there once right before the Olympic Committee came, before the first Olympics, and they had shut every factory down, taken every car off the road. I flew in. It was a normal night in Beijing. It was overcast and smoggy. I went into the same hotel they stayed in, Chongguo Dafan, the China World Hotel, and woke up in the morning, and I walked into the lobby and I saw the security guy standing outside smoking a cigarette, looking up. And so I walked outside and looked up, and it was a blue sky.
Wow.
And so this guy, so the PSB guy who lived in the hotel was out front eyeballing the blue sky, and I walked up and I asked him, I said, what are you looking at? And he pointed up, and I started laughing. He said, 1 week holiday. And I said, so literally the country shut down power plants, vehicles, and it was to clear the air. So when the Olympic Committee came, it could see that Beijing could be made to have clean air, not while it's operating, but that's how they did it to induce the Olympic Committee.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you want to talk about the beauty of a centralized system, that's it. Flip one switch and everything stops.
Yeah, I thought the funny thing was he was smoking a cigarette, because if he'd been breathing clean air, he would have gotten a cough.
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a good thing, Scott.
Yeah. I didn't say it was a good thing. I said it's the beauty, right, of the centralized system. These are the people who think that is a good thing. Yes, I do not think that's a good thing. I think freedom is a good thing.
The thing that really gets my goat these days is all of these young kind of digital people, the Wumao digital class. You've got
the Wolf Warriors, right?
Brazilians and Americans and Dutch who live in China now. They're just insufferable about China.
What's crazy to me is, like, Wumao is 50 Cent Army, right?
Yeah,
and I just can't believe that White Monkey has depreciated to the point where you can get Wumao White Monkeys. It's amazing. It's phenomenal.
It's just maybe I'm just getting old. I am just getting old, but I mean, when I see that, I just roll my eyes. It's like, good Lord. and you can't talk to them, and they have nearly zero historical fact. It's
Correct,
all
yeah.
about, well, I live in Shanghai and I have an apartment and I have a girlfriend and it's better than where I come from. Okay, good for you.
Well,
enjoy it.
And they
Yeah.
deliberately scared off the ones that were doing any kind of truth. There were a couple that were there that were giving legitimate, honest, and started out as fairly pro-Chinese. They came to China for business stuff. They both married Chinese women. Like, they were trying to integrate into the culture, but they were telling the truth. And people like them got literally forced out of the country under threat of being kidnapped by the CCP.
When you say got married to Chinese women, they're assigned agents from the
Yeah.
Chinese government.
Well, so maybe not, because their wives apparently were also getting threatened and beaten, and their wives' families are still under threat now.
So
I
the
don't know.
difference between an agent and an officer watcher is exactly that. An
Ah.
agent doesn't work for the government; they're forced into doing something for them.
Gotcha. Well,
they may not volunteer to be an agent. They may be
Right.
compelled.
But
to
they
be
were
an agent.
agents. They were acting as agents. Yeah.
But yeah, the Y88 and why can I not remember the other guy's name? One of them's an American, one of them's a white South African.
Yeah.
The
Serpent
South African kid is
Zeta.
insufferable.
Yeah.
So what I'm finding interesting about this is I think the Japanese and Koreans are pretty impressed with what's going on. And they clearly favor stability like the Chinese. But I'll tell you who's under the pressure now is the guys in the Middle East. So Iran needs to align, and the Arabs are shuffling their deck. So you've got this new Saudi, Turkish, Egypt, and I think Qatar. Is it Qatar, Saudi? I think there are four of them that have split off. You've got Dubai and Abu Dhabi saying we're out of OPEC. So you've got that fragmentation of the multilateral institutions that's occurred, and that's good because they're all biased. But we're going to have to. I mean, as we said on China, we got to stay engaged beyond the 24 to 36 months of the American political think tank. We've got to be engaged for decades to extract the value from this repositioning of control in these countries. So Iran's been dealt with, Venezuela's been dealt with, Cuba's been dealt with. There's nowhere else to go. We control 80% of the energy on the planet. And we need to be hopeful and helpful with it, but we need to be very strong and predictable. And it's a strong and predictable part that Washington has to step up to.
Let's see. So the last thing we have in the China segment is something Trump said on the plane flying back to the States, referring to Iran. And we've evidently he said a bunch of stuff, but this is one of the things that evidently he's good for a 20-year moratorium on nuke stuff, which would be. I don't know if that's really significantly different than what he said in the past, but this is for civilian nuclear energy is what I'm taking this as. Let's see what he has to say here. Watch here. Are you going to play the sound?
Oh, shoot. Is there no sound? Hold on. Let me reshare it. Don't know how that happened.
Sir, I know there'll be a lot of questions around the China trip, but just first on Iran, have you rejected the latest proposal from Iran, or where does that stand?
Well, I looked at it, and if I don't like the first sentence, I just throw it away.
What was the first sentence?
An unacceptable sentence. Because they're fully agreed, no nuclear, and if they have any nuclear of any form, I don't read the rest of it.
So 20 years is not enough for you, it's got to be a permanent...
No, 20 years is enough, but the level of guarantee from them is not enough. In other words, it's got to be a real 20 years, not a big one.
You've got to get all the fuel out and no
days, I think. Million days.
That's actually a little harder than I was expecting him to you know, he's basically saying it's got to be a real, you know. Watcher, you need to take off?
Soonish. Yeah, I need to
Okay.
go into that appointment to get my scan done.
Yeah, we've got 4 stories to go. Let's see if we can't get through these.
Real quick, I briefly wanted to mention we were learning about it as the show began. In the midst of China saying that they're not going to supply weapons to Iran, some odd act of piracy occurred in the UAE off of Fujairah. A Japanese fishing ship or a Chinese fishing ship was seized. It's flagged out of Honduras, but it turns out it's an armory ship for Sinogard. Sinogard is very similar to Ambry Maritime. It's a Chinese maritime security company that protects shipping. And this boat was supposedly assigned way down in the Gulf of Aden to provide arms to Chinese security guards on Chinese boats. But for some reason, it was tied up outside of Fujairah port. It was boarded by unknown people and is now en route to Iranian waters. So it looks like the Iranians said, "Oh, you're not going to give us any more arms? We'll just take them then."
Yeah, this is repo on our deal here.
I mean, that's one way, or personally, the way that I think it is China said, "Oh no, we won't send Iran to arms. We'll just park a boat that's full of them in a place where the Iranians can get to them and tell them exactly where it's at."
And my take on this is that the Iranians don't want the Chinese to be able to protect their vessels if it goes badly for them.
That's true, because China has refused to pay any ransoms.
They have.
Yeah.
So
yes,
that's entirely possible too.
Joe, you could probably search this out, but I bet that boat's been there since probably before the war, right? Like
it has been there for a while. Its AIS was off for a while. It was en route to the Gulf of Aden originally, but there's no telling exactly how long. But the AIS has been off for quite a while until it suddenly reappeared when it was convenient for it to reappear.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next segment, which is the domestic portion. Something that got a lot of attention. Several of you guys pinged me on X about this. Grenade-type IED found at Alabama Dam raises alarm over critical infrastructure threats. Now, here's my assessment of this, and I'll turn it over to Joe because he probably has better general knowledge of this. This is either something that is an explosive, to be sure, but not intended as a destructive device against a piece of critical infrastructure, or it is intended to do something, but it's so inadequate and incompetently made that there's no way it ever could do anything. I mean, let's be honest, Joe, a grenade has got what, like 4, maybe 2 pounds of explosive in it? I mean, we're not talking about,
ounces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's about 2 pounds of explosive, right? It's not a lot. And even with a lot of these physics wizards trying to say, all it has to do is do just a little bit of damage, and the 17 billion gallons of water behind the dam would then do the rest of the work. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Well, water pressure works on both sides, right? So it's not necessarily going to do what people think it's going to do. I think one of two things happened. There was an old training exercise where they didn't clear all of the materials, and then someone found this one. Or somebody found this type device and was just too dumb to know that it would not do the job. Interestingly, in there, they said grenade type, didn't say a grenade. And 2, they didn't say how it was armed or rigged, just that it was found. So it leads me to believe like either someone thought this would do something and it wouldn't, or it was an old training exercise left behind, or literally someone found this thing at home and was like, how do we get rid of it? I don't know, toss it in the reservoir, right? I really don't believe that this was an intended attack.
And who knows? So here's 2 other things, right? Divers conducting routine maintenance surveys found the device, prompting a multi-agency response that include the Mobile County Sheriff Department, FBI Bomb Squad, Mobile Police Department Explosive Ordnance Detail, EOD, the Aliyah Bomb Squad, the Daphne. Anyway, everybody came out for it, right? But what this doesn't say is A, exactly what the device was, and B, is how long it's been there. Joe, it could very well have been there for several years.
Exactly. It could have been there, part of a training exercise. They forgot. Oh, we recovered 4. Oh, we put out 5. Well, maybe one floated away, and then it just is now resurfacing. So,
and we also don't know that it actually had explosives in it.
Correct.
So a lot of kind of holes in this story. So don't look for a threat where there may not be one. But then again, this is always tells you this could have just been an incompetent bomb maker, and we're all lucky that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. The problem with that is eventually they're going to figure out their trade, and people are going to lose their lives. So
it is worth noting, but I would not necessarily freak out about that.
Yeah. Some rednecks were fishing with dynamite. I just don't think it was that. This doesn't sound like dynamite fishing residue.
Yeah, no.
All right, guys, anything else on this?
No.
All right, next one up. Now, this story is a year in the making, but we're just I'm just finding out about this. Joe was aware of this. This is from May 14th, 2025. A 19-year-old former U.S. Army National Guard soldier was arrested for planning a mass shooting at a Michigan military base on behalf of ISIS. If you look at the guy's picture, he practically has
the
ISIS.
least surprising suspect I've ever seen.
I know, right? He gave undercover agents ammo, drone recon, and attack plans, thinking they were fellow ISIS members. The plot foiled on the day of the planned attack. This is exactly the insider threat scenario the military has feared for years, and it keeps happening. Yet it's somehow not dangerous white supremacist, far-right extremists. Joe? I thought guys like us were the extremists.
Well, once again, you'll see that there is just so much terrorism in the U.S. that we have to set somebody up and trick him into doing it. But this guy was arrested a long time ago. This should surprise no one who's ever been to Metro Detroit that there is a large Arab population that hates the United States there. It's a pretty common feeling. But this guy was out there. He did have this thing. They arrested him last year when it first happened. He was arrested when he got out and attempted to put a drone in the air over U.S. TACOM, Tank and Automotive Command, which is where they create all of our new armored vehicles and devise new tanks. At the time, the newest version of the M1 A1 tank or M1 tank, I don't know, it's like A12 or something, was
M1
there.
E3, yeah, something like that.
They were working on that. It's a very well defended base. They would not have gotten past the front gate, no matter what they thought they were going to do. But this guy's been out here. This case has been going on for a year. I don't know why it came out yesterday from everyone, but it is not new.
All right, moving on. So this, I guess, this is another one of the comments.
They have no anti-aircraft now.
Whoa, sorry.
I guess this was in China.
They have no anti-aircraft now. They probably have. I mean, we know everything they've done. They built it up a little bit. We'll take it out in one day. It'll all be gone. I hope they're watching, because all of their anti-stuff, anything they put up, we know exactly what they put up. They had a little respite. And so they're trying to get a few things together. They have taken some missiles from underground. We know exactly what they've done. It'll all be gone in one day. Everything they've done for the last 4 weeks will be gone in one day. But when you read some of these horrible papers, they have no anti-aircraft now.
All right, so it's repeating there. Just kind of driving home the point that when he decides to go hard against Iran again, basically all the improving their foxhole they've done for the last 4 weeks or so will be erased overnight.
So we're going to destroy everything they have in one night again.
No, I think what he said is the things that they brought out since the ceasefire has begun.
I understand, but we have destroyed everything they have in one night 37 times. So, excuse me if I, get a little skeptical of it because we keep saying it. So,
that's fair. I mean, it's fair criticism. Gentlemen, any other comments on Trump's promise to get rid of everything they've got in the first 24 hours if they go back to war?
Wow. I think what's interesting is Reza Pahlavi has disappeared from the public discourse, which tells me that there is something afoot in an alternative government structure somewhere going on.
Oh, you think they're basically getting that whole thing ready to go?
I hope so. I can't believe it hadn't been done, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that it is being done. And the difficulty you're going to get is the guys have been here for 60 years. They don't want to go home. Their kids all went to college here. Their grandkids are here. They're not going to go repopulate Iran. So you're going to have to get somebody who's willing to go back and coalesce what's left of rugged individualism in the Persian spirit and put it to work rebuilding the country. If we fail at that, this won't come out as well as it could. And the Arabs don't seem to have much gumption. I mean, they're in there messing around once in a while. There've been some strikes. I guess they put some teams on the ground in some of the port cities and killed some people. But this grudge match stuff that goes on in the Gulf, we need to have a policy of there needs to be a replacement to run the country. And it's kind of embarrassing that we really didn't seem to have one queued up.
Yeah.
I mean, for the last 30 years, we should have had that queued up.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely speaks to me that it was not an engineered uprising earlier.
Yeah. Well, the showed up with a bunch of M16A4s all of a sudden, or AK-47s, or
Ron switches departments, ends up over at the Department of War, and all of a sudden we can't pull off a good coup anywhere.
Oh, no!
I don't know.
Well, evidently, USAID was good for something, I guess.
That's like when you pull one of those little boxes out from under your car. You get under the hood, you find a little box that's been burned. You pull it off and just kind of short the wires across. Maybe it did do something. Shit, it's like my windows don't work. My left signal doesn't work.
All right, what else we got here? All right, last one here. Little Rubio. We haven't seen enough Rubio lately, so this is let's see what Rubio's got to say. He's talking about Cuba. So Cuba is on the menu, gentlemen.
$100 million. By the way, we've given them humanitarian aid. After the hurricane, we provided them $6 million of humanitarian aid, $3 million of which was distributed, $3 million of which is still being held up. But is available for them. Now we're saying here's $100 million of humanitarian aid. So I don't know if they watch your broadcast in Cuba, but if they are, the Cuban people should know there's $100 million of food and medicine available for them right now. And the only reason it's not reaching the Cuban people is because
strings
of the
attached.
The only string attached is it has to be distributed by I don't want non-governmental organizations. This can't be humanitarian aid that the government steals for itself. There's 100.
Because every time before they steal it and then sell it on the open market.
Right. Yeah, it basically becomes the cronies' business inventory is what it becomes.
Kind of like Puerto Rico did.
And I want to clarify. Yeah, well, very true. And I want to clarify when I say that. When I mean open market, I don't mean to the people on the street there in Cuba. They don't want any of their worthless currency. I mean, they ship it overseas to someone who will give them USD for it so they can trade for things that the regime wants.
Lost Core over on Rumble for $10 says, speaking of Ron, I'm kind of upset he's left my DM unread on X. Hey, if anybody's got an excuse not to be on XDM, it's Ron, right? If I didn't read
probably only gets somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,326 DMs a day. So, I mean,
yeah, I like I said, if it was me not reading your DMs, I could totally get it. But considering that Ron's got some shit going on in this five-sided funny house that he works in, I'd give him a pass on it. one of these days he will be back in the out of the government service, and he'll probably jump right back into his same old stuff. Either that, or he'll be so tired of it that he'll just be like, fuck this, I'm out.
His wife has the best sense of humor, because the first day I met her, I show up there and she was going to be making Ron and I dinner, and she goes, "We're having pizza," and she points at this giant pineapple she has on the island, and she says, "I hope that's okay." I was like, "I'll just go to Burger King. It's fine." But she went to the trouble to buy a pineapple just for a joke, so she's worth it for that. It's a good lady.
All right. Gentlemen, that's all I got for today. Round the horn real quick, and then we'll let Watcher go. Joe, what do you think going into the weekend we can expect to see?
You can let Watcher go, but I have to stay.
We're all going, but yeah.
Over the weekend, I would watch for us to unleash some things on Iran.
Yeah.
And China is not going to allow the seizure of the Huichang to go unopposed, right? So I would watch for some sparks to fly, perhaps just diplomatically. But there is a Chinese naval group that has operated in the Persian Gulf for years, possibly kinetically between Iran and China. China's not going to let that boat remain in Iranian custody.
Imagine for a moment the unbelievable optics of China stepping in to help us reopen the Strait of Hormuz and flatten the IRGC, while the Europeans sit bumblefucking with their thumbs up their asses.
Well, if China doesn't do something or say something about this ship seizure, then you will know it was a setup by China and Iran.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can't let your anti-piracy ship get taken by pirates.
Right?
Exactly.
Also, like, of all the ships that are there, like, you look into it and you're like, wow, how many ships are currently in the Gulf right now? Oh, it's hundreds. There are hundreds of ships all over. How many are within reach of Iranian fast boats? Oh, it's still hundreds. Oh, and they picked the one boat that happened to be loaded for anti-piracy gear.
Yeah.
When did this boat get seized?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
So I wonder if it was after Xi said that Iran can't have nuclear. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't all connected.
I think it's probably Iran saying, okay, well, we'll just take them then.
Yeah, that's basically Iran saying bet. All right. Jim, looking at the weekend, you think we'll have any fallout from the China talks?
Yeah, I think you're going to see phone ops. Bring it. I think you're going to see a lot of motion on Iran. Most of it probably kinetic, unless the Iranians are listening to what was said in Beijing. And I think that the U.S. did a really good job on this trip. And Trump's going to get ripped up by the left. They're going to be squealing like stuck pigs. But there's no there. Trump is very, very much in control of what he's doing. And yeah, gas prices are up, but they should be coming down. And the way to do that is put a new government in Iran and stop this fallacy of Persian control over the Strait of Hormuz.
Hey, by the way, a little known ruling was passed that the U.S. is going to set aside gasoline taxes at the federal level for a short period of time to bring gas prices down, and they've asked states to do the same.
They should. I've been preaching that since day one. It's stupid that they're collecting that money at this point in the economy,
especially at this federal level. I think.
Yeah, but the left immediately goes into a complete tizzy because, well, that'll drive consumption. Well, guess what? We are ruggedly individual, and it is the summer. We're going to go consume fuel.
But by the way, who's the biggest moneymaker from the gas you buy? It's the states. It's not the gas companies. It's not the federal government. The states make the most money.
The gas companies only make like about 2 cents on the gallon. The only reason they make a ton of money is because they sell millions of gallons, right?
And candy bars.
And candy bars. Well, yeah, they make a ton of money off the convenience store. The convenience stores changed the game, by the way.
Yeah.
I remember reading an article about it. Was it back in the late 80s or whatever?
Dolio's a spokesperson for Buc-ee's. Joe, how much does Buc-ee's make?
I don't know, but I gotta get my Buc-ee's store open here. Wait, I have a
Exactly.
Be Prepared in the chat bought me a portable Buc-ee's store.
I'm just saying, Joe, that lot, that field, like just off from the main road, like down the hill from where you're at, that would probably be just big enough for a Buc-ee's, right?
It's nowhere near big enough for a Buc-ee's, and that's a designated helipad. But yes,
I mean, we can build the helipad on top of the Buc-ee's store.
But today there will be a Buc-ee's inflatable there. Be prepared, right? Be Prepared picked me up a Buc-ee's inflatable, so at the demanding of Mrs. Tactical Wisdom. So it will be here today.
Evidently, they just announced that President Trump called Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi after boarding Air Force One heading home. Takaichi says they are moving full steam to strengthen the alliance with Japan. So
Potato!
Yeah, that was probably the most ironic story of the last 24 hours. Somebody said, for the first time in history, Japan fired an anti-ship missile from Philippine territory. Oh, that's not true. Maybe in its modern incarnation, but that's not true.
Let's see. All right, Joe. Watch your final thoughts.
Yeah, I would look out for the leftist networks. Here's the deal. I am watching the desperation grow. I know that we didn't really talk much about it on the show. We probably should do a full in-depth segment on it because they issued a new statement essentially right before Trump went wheels up to go to China, saying that they are going to start coming after trans, anarchist, anti-American groups the same way that we go after Al-Qaeda. And they basically said, if you're trying to kill Americans, we're going to hunt you down and find you and kill you. And they meant that here domestically. And I'm watching that get spread all over leftist networks like wildfire. And I'm telling you that the last time I saw them start to coordinate like this was before the Floyd riots.
Yeah, I think as we get closer to the midterms, we're going to see the left coalesce into something a little more energized and a little more violent than what we've experienced in the last, basically since the summer of love. Because I think they're slowly realizing that they are fucked when it comes to a lot of they played stupid games and people are finally calling them on their shit. I mean, this is shaping up to be a potentially historic loss for the Democrats in the midterm. So we shall see. Jim, what's your take? Watch if you got to jump, you can jump. But I just want to get Jim's thoughts real quick on the redistricting.
I think it's blown up in the face of the Democratic Party. I think the incompetence of the team in Virginia, the incompetence of the teams in the South has just been turned, and the SCOTUS ruling on not being able to use race as a districting justification. I mean, that it makes perfect sense constitutionally. So I think they're in trouble. And I think the second piece that nobody understands is you got a guy like Marco Rubio being a total star globally.
Again, Marco Rubio.
Yeah, being a total freaking star. I think the Republicans are going to win back the Hispanic vote in this next vote cycle, and I think he's going to be the point man for that. I think Vance did a really good job up in Maine, but I think Rubio will become the gravity well for the Republican run in this midterm. And I think it's going to be effective because the incompetence of the Democrats is just blatant across the board. Just listening to the senators, listening to Mark Warner, listening to Van Hollen, they're not running anything. They've got an adult daycare going on in the Hill.
You know, we can complain about the Republicans not being well prepared, but the only thing that makes the Republicans look even better is just how fucking incompetent across the board the Democrats, especially the national profile Democrats, have been.
Yep, agreed.
I guess Joe had to go. All right, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. If you haven't done already, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Let us know that you're getting some good stuff out of here on the CFC. We'll be back on Monday, same time, same channel. And as always, stay safe.